...2003 Ford Mustang GT Convertible. This is the second vehicle I've owned, so before we dig in, let's talk about my first car. This was it, a 1998 Ford Mustang GT. It was a lemon. Get it? Because it was yellow? But seriously, the car had been rebuilt and it showed. The front tires weren't even, the paint chipped off if you looked at it wrong, and I was constantly fixing little things. The engine was great though, and the exhaust sounded pretty good too. There's a certain level of sentimentality for your first car, but everything I loved about the 98 is either present or improved upon in the 2003. The engine in this 2003 Mustang is a 4.6-liter 2-valve SOCH modular V8 pushing 260 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque. Now those are stock numbers. Mine's slightly modified. I'm not exactly sure what numbers I'm running. The car has a 5-speed manual transmission hooked up to rear-wheel drive with 327 gearing. And as I said earlier, the car has been slightly modified by both myself and the previous owner. Notable modifications include performance coil packs, a K&N air filter, a 91-octane race tune, a muffler delete, 15% window tint, a shorty antenna, a Bluetooth radio, a sequential taillight kit, and LED conversions wherever needed. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a Mustang fanboy. I enjoy automobiles as a whole. Each vehicle has its pros and cons. This Mustang is not perfect. It has its flaws. The plastic interior is not my favorite. The sun visors are falling apart, and the driver's seat stitching is coming loose. But this car drives solid. The steering is tight. The throttle response is immediate. The transmission is smooth, and the tires hook up so long as you don't punch it. That's the beauty of the early 2000s. It predates all the electronic driving garbage. All the drive systems are mechanical, so you feel everything. Driving this Mustang is a lot of fun. You can drop a gear and make power if you want, but in town, like I am right now, you can make your gear shifts a little bit more tame so that it's more cruising type attitude. This has a really good balance of cruiser or racer, because if I want to get on it, I can, and it'll go. But at the same time, if I don't want to wake up the whole neighborhood, I have that option. A lot of people ask me about my exhaust and want to know what's done to it. It's straight pipe. They just took the mufflers off and put pipe in place of where the mufflers are, and that's another great thing about this car is if you don't put a lot of gas in your acceleration, it's pretty tame and it's pretty quiet. If you want to get on it, then it's a different story. The car drives really smooth. A lot of people think because it's a 5-speed that your shifts make you buck and kick back and forth in your seat, but really if you know what you're doing, you can make the ride super smooth. Woo! So yeah, that's what happens when you get on it. The clutch is kind of heavy in this car. When I replaced it, I got a Ford Racing clutch, so it is a little bit heavier, but it doesn't really feel that much different from the stock one. So I think just this generation of Mustangs has a pretty heavy clutch, and it makes sense because this is a V8 car. There's a lot of travel, and it grabs at about the halfway point off the floor, but that's good because that makes your shifts pretty smooth. The Challenger SRT8. Very nice. On the interstate, there's not really a lot of road noise, although there's going to be more than a coupe because it's a convertible. But I don't get a lot of wind noise. I don't get a lot of whistle. It's surprisingly quiet for a convertible. I was expecting it to be a lot worse, but really it's pretty good. Just like the exhaust. The exhaust does not drone at these high speeds, and it's the same in town. You don't get a lot of exhaust noise within the cabin. It's much louder out there. You hear it. You definitely hear it in here, but it's not loud and obnoxious. I've never been driving on the interstate and been like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe how loud that exhaust is. It doesn't drone, it's great. I said earlier that all the drive systems are mechanical, and obviously I've got power steering and power brakes and ABS. But what I mean by mechanical is that I feel everything, and there's not a disconnect like I feel with newer cars. Everything is solid. Like, I feel the bumps in the road. I feel the gear changes. I feel the engine, take hold and go to the back. Everything is felt and experienced by the driver, and I truly feel like this vehicle is an extension of myself. When something happens, I feel it almost instantaneously, and I can react. I don't feel cocooned. I feel like I'm a part of the driving experience. But with that being said, it's fairly comfortable in here. These bucket seats hold me well. I don't ever get uncomfortable sitting in these. The gear shift has a pretty long throw, but it's nothing uncomfortable. I can rest my arm here on the center console and make gear changes without feeling like I'm stretching too far. And then there's plenty of places to throw my arm right here on the windowsill or even down here. I'm comfortable in this vehicle. The power band on this car feels pretty linear. Obviously, if you try to punch it at low RPMs, it's gonna struggle a little bit. But for the most part, even in 5th gear, if you put the pedal down, she's gonna move. And you can feel the car accelerating, especially if you drop a gear. But at high speeds, it's very comfortable, it's very smooth, and if you want to make power and you want to accelerate quickly, you can do that, but it's not rough when you're just cruising. Visibility is okay when the top's up. It's not much worse than anything else I've been in. Your A-pillars are pretty small. I've got very good visibility up front right here. Now your back is a little difficult because the rear of the convertible top is pretty wide, so you've kind of got to check a little bit more than you would in a coupe because the rear window is smaller and you've got a bigger blind spot on your back corners. But when the top's down, you have 0 blind spots, so it's kind of give and take. This car does everything I want it to do at this point in my life. It was fairly affordable to buy. It makes a decent enough power, not too much to kill me, but enough to have fun. It's great to zip around town in. And for a while I thought I would sell it when I graduated college, but since then I have decided that I'm going to keep it as long as I can because this car makes me happy. It does everything I need it to do, so why sell it? And once again, it's not perfect. It's got flaws. There are little things that I can fix, but it's nothing major. Mechanically, the car is sound. Body-wise, the car is sound. Everything that needs to be done to it at this point is little minute detail-like things. I've driven this car for roughly 110,000 miles, and it's performed beautifully the whole time. Interstate, city, no matter what I've asked it to do, it's done it, and I have not noticed a drop in engine response or anything. The car performs like the day I got it. And if you take care of a car like I have this, it'll last you a very long time, just like this has. I'm trying not to swoon too much because this obviously is my automobile, and if I didn't love it, I would get rid of it. But I love it. So with that being said, I do think this is a good car. I've driven plenty of other people's vehicles, and I do think that this is one of the best ones that I have driven so far. I've driven plenty of newer cars, and there's such a disconnect between the road and the driver. But in this Mustang, you actually drive. It's a beautiful bond between man and machine. And I'm not biased. Everybody else who's driven the car has said the same thing. For a 14-year-old vehicle, she sure drives like new. And I know what you're thinking. A 5-speed V8, the gas mileage must be terrible, but I usually get around 22 miles per gallon, and filling up costs me around $25 every 2 weeks. I've absolutely fallen in love with this thing, and I think it all comes down to the experience. The car doesn't make the most power, but it's a blast to drive. I can't help but crack a smile every time I get in it. I think that's the most important part, the experience of a car. It doesn't really matter whose logo's on the front or how many cylinders you've got, so long as you enjoy the experience. They make different types of automobiles for different types of people. Look, I know that Mustangs have a bad reputation, but I am a fan. And I'm not afraid to admit that they're a cheap thrill. I mean, they're very affordable vehicles, but they make power and you can have fun with them. Honestly, every Mustang I've ever driven, I've been satisfied with, and considering my track record, I would truly consider buying another one. But if you don't like Mustangs, that's fine. Your preferences of a vehicle are your own for a reason. So long as you don't dislike Ford just because it's Ford. Please have legitimate reasons. But once again, each car has its pros and cons, and it really depends on the driver to decide what pros and cons they're okay with. But for me, I can truly say that I'm proud to have that running pony brandishing the front.